Hi everybody, and welcome into what is from this moment forward a new kind of Blue Nation. I'm still Noah Schwartz, and this is still TV10's sports show, but everything else has changed, and to prove it, I'm dressing like I usually do. There's no station-branded quarter zip here, and that's not the only big change. See, we realized that you're not going to go to your campus TV station to hear the latest sports news, and we also realized that on our end, reporting sports news can get really boring. So we're getting rid of all that stuff, and we're replacing it with a new kind of sports show. A show that understands all the reasons we love sports. A show that's here to celebrate sports. A show to be a nerd, to speak analytically about sports, and a show to wax nostalgic about some obscure replacement level players from the late 2000s. This is a show that is here to provide something interesting and valuable to all of us in the world of sports. From this moment forward, Blue Nation will never be the same. From this moment forward, Blue Nation will never need to use the desk again.
Actually, Noah, wait. Aren't you doing picks this week? Don't you need the desk for that?
Hi everybody and welcome back to Blue Nation. Here we are in station-branded quarter zips, most of us. It's the fall semester again, and we're going to fill some time tonight by picking NFL games. Joining me now here are the same guys as usual. Justin Narveson is TV10's production director, and Dan Zons is the host of TV10's Handful. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Doing absolutely wonderful on a great rainy night, I'd say. How about you, Justin?
I mean, we need the rain, so I'm happy about that. But it's been a good day so far.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Couldn't ask for a better rainy day here. But 2 days from now, it gets really important, at least for the three of us, because we're Packer fans. Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video sees the Lions travel to Lambeau to take on the Packers. We'll start off with Dan here, because Justin's got seniority. Dan, who you got?
I thank you for that. I thank you for giving me that first pick here. I would have to go to the Packers. We're all Packers fans. I think we all knew this was coming. But I know one thing, though. I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game. I don't think the defenses are really there yet. I think the Packers are making strides. However, they've had a few great injuries, specifically with Jair Alexander. Who knows what he's going to look like coming out there. And both these offenses are kind of really getting into their groove into this early part of the season.
Interesting take. All right, Justin, what do you think?
This is going to be a low-scoring just duel between these two teams.
Is it?
Yes, I mean, look at the way the Packers played last week. It took them 3 quarters to get going and finally did in the fourth quarter. They aren't necessarily rolling right now.
But they still scored 18 in the fourth quarter.
Okay, whoa, 18. But I think this is going to be the Lions haven't had any crazy scoring yet. They've really kind of been taking their step by step, not really trying to blow the doors off anyone, just beat them with grit, and that's what we've seen so far. I still like the Packers in this one, even with injuries. I mean, you're getting Aaron Jones. We saw how dangerous he was week 1. And then you're getting potentially Christian Watson back. Don't know for sure on that, but they both said they'll be back today for this Thursday game.
Absolutely. Oh, go. You sound like you had something.
You can feel my presence there, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
I will say, considering how they played against this Saints defense, I got to give them props. I think that we're going to see this offense take another step in this Lions game, and I think this is going to be the real deal of a matchup for them here. This is going to show whether this team is actually legitimate or not going into the season.
I think that's as good of a take as any. Look, I'm going to make it the trifecta. We're all picking the Packers. We're all homers. There's really no secret there. But this is a game that worries me. This is a game that if you're the Green Bay Packers, you're worried about for the first time in years playing the Lions. Jared Goff has got this team to be the NFC North favorite. They've got more skill than perhaps the other 3 teams put together at this stage in the season. And if you're a Packer fan, even with the win in your back pocket from Sunday, I'm not sure you're so confident. That being said, that would require me to pick the Detroit Lions, and that's something that I'm just not willing to do, so Packers by a touchdown. We move to the Sunday slate of games, and 2 of the AFC's highest-powered offenses. It's the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Justin, who you got?
I'm sorry to say this to you, but it's the Dolphins. by a fairly large margin, in my opinion.
Really?
I think this Dolphins team is legit, and sure, it was all hype leading up to the season, but they've come out and blown the doors off of 2 opponents early. You gotta respect that. Yes, sure, the Broncos aren't that good, but you gotta respect putting 70 points up on the board. And that defense only held them to 20. Their defense is good. Their offense is high-powered and electric. Mike McDaniel's doing his thing down there, really bringing that offense to life. I think this is Dolphins easy for me.
All right, Dan, what about you?
This is going to be harder for me to choose just because I do kind of like that Bills defense. They still have some great names on there. They aren't as good as they were last season, but I could still see them taking another step this year still. However, I'm gonna side with Justin here just because of that 70-point game, and I'm gonna be high on that for a while because wow, they really just absolutely demolished the Broncos. And while that Broncos team, as Justin said, not a good team like whatsoever, I think this will be a closer game between the Dolphins and Bills. It could be a 1, maybe 2-score game at the end of it.
See, I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go Bills here. You can see on that graphic, the win probability is just about as close as it can get there, those courtesy of ESPN, 51-49 Miami. I think people forget a lot of times how good the Buffalo Bills are at football. Josh Allen is extremely good at football. Stephon Diggs, top 5 receiver in the league. That defense, there are no weak spots on it. They might not have a running game, but they've got a high-powered offense, a bruising defense. They went 13-4 last year, to overcoming a litany of injuries. They still don't have Von Miller back, and they're still playing the way that they are. I think that the Bills are out to prove that they're still that team, and they're still the team to beat in the AFC East. I'm going Bills by 1 billion, as always. Elsewhere Sunday at noon, in quite an opposite matchup, going from the high end of the scoring to the low end, it'll be the Denver Broncos traveling down to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Dan, thoughts?
A battle of the 0-3 teams here. Really, neither of them have shown really any kind of highlights, especially the Bears. And man, the Broncos just looked awful under Sean Payton, and I'm thinking he should really go back into retirement after that. I think if there may be like one 40, 50-point loss away from him actually just leaving the Broncos right after that. Really makes you look at Nathaniel Hackett in a good light here. But honestly, I'd have to say Bears, mainly because of the versatility of Fields. I'm still high on him. I don't think he's going to be a necessarily great passer in this league. However, he's very versatile and can make so much happen, especially against this Broncos defense, which I still think is probably going to be one of the worst in the league at the end of the year. But while both teams, Broncos weren't supposed to be rebuilding. However, they might look like they're rebuilding right now, especially with that last loss. I still think the Bears can really get a win here at the end of the day. And that pains me to say as a Packers fan, but Justin Fields, man, it's hard to bet against him.
All right, what about you, Justin?
I mean, who do we even choose? I mean, come on. This is a battle of the worst, in my opinion. This is who gets the #1 pick, potentially. I think the Bears' ground game will win it for them. We saw how effective Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane were for the Dolphins. I think that ground game is just going to run all over that terrible Broncos defense. So I'll take the Bears, and again, not in a comfortable fashion, but should be the first one here, in my opinion.
I'm going to defer again. I've actually got the Broncos on the road in this one. And I know that's kind of a leap of faith. I know that taking a team like that without home field advantage is not a game. That's not a pick that you want to make, and that's not a pick that you feel very comfortable making. But the Bears are so bad. The Bears are a tire fire. Let's be honest here. You got Justin Fields in the media blaming his coaches openly. And then they do that whole performative thing. Oh, they hugged it out at practice. But you can tell there's still some problems there. There's some problems both with the coaching and with Fields, his play himself. Because I can read a defense better than him, and I can't read a defense. That being said, the Broncos, as we just talked about, just got 70 dropped on their heads by Tua Tagovailoa. I think the real question that you have to ask yourself in this game is, do you imagine Sisyphus happy? Because that's what this game's going to be like. We move on now to another game, a game of some importance to some folks on campus, certainly not us though, as the Minnesota Vikings travel down to take on the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. Another matchup of winless teams. The Vikings face off against their old star Adam Thielen. Dan, take it away.
Well, honestly, it has to be the Vikings. They need this game, and by need I mean they need this game. Shout out Pete Knutson. I talked to him in the car a little bit ago, talking to him about if the Vikings could actually realistically still potentially make the playoffs or even make a splash in any sort of way at all this season. And I said if they drop down to 0-5, this team's going to rebuild. This team's going to blow it up. This team's done for. Because here's the thing. You have an aging Kirk Cousins who I believe is on the expiring end of his deal. You have a bunch of other aging veterans too. And then you have the best wide receiver in football right now, Justin Jefferson. You don't have, and considering you don't know if Justin Jefferson really wants to stay there after that. You need to prove to him that you can actually put together a team that you're willing to change and build around this guy. Kirk Cousins is not the guy that you're going to build around because he's probably done after this season, especially if you go down 0-5. So they need to win this game. I think they will win this game. The Panthers are literally rebuilding. So if they do lose this game, I'm sorry, all the Viking fans on campus. This is going to be a really rough season for you if they don't win this game.
Justin, counterpoint?
Who gives the Panthers better shot at winning, Andy Dalton or Bryce Young?
That is a good question. Honestly,
I saw a
think
terrible
Andy Dalton.
take on Twitter saying Andy Dalton, in my opinion. The number one pick gives them the best shot at winning a game. It all comes down to if Bryce Young's healthy enough to go, and if he will go. If Bryce Young goes, it's a one-score win for the Panthers. Complete opposite of what happened last year for the Vikings. Vikings go down 0-4 in one-score games. I think all their games have been one-score. It's been close. There might have been one that wasn't one-score, but it's going to be the complete opposite of what they did last year in one-score games. But if it's Andy Dalton, I don't think the Panthers have a shot, in my opinion. I think Andy Dalton's reached his end of his career, and I don't think he's the same Andy Dalton that we saw in Cincinnati with A.J. Green. And I think that if Andy Dalton's there, that should be the Vikings game to take.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think especially Bryce Young's going to give you the best chance to win just because he's so versatile in general. He's able to make things just happen. He's a pretty magical quarterback, especially if you watched him in college, which I think everyone did. But the thing is, this is going to be a battle between these O-lines. Whoever's able to hold up better against this defensive front, whichever team it is going to win this game. And honestly, I trust the Vikings O-line better than the Panthers O-line because they've already just ruined Bryce Young's season. And it hasn't really even gone. We're not even 4 games in yet, and he's already injured.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely valid. I think in this game, man, the cupboard is going to be bare. Those first 3 quarters of the Packers-Saints game this week might have been the worst football game that I had ever had the displeasure of watching with my own eyes. It just wasn't good football. This might top it. Both of these teams have nothing to do. They have nothing. They've got nothing. Simply nothing.
Simply nothing.
It's just a whole lot of nothing. It's going to be really sad. That being said, I do not pick the Minnesota Vikings on television. So I'm going to have to go with the Panthers, and I guess we'll have to leave it there. That's the last time we'll mention that game, because that's just a bad matchup.
I don't know. Bears Broncos might be worse. That might be the least watched game on television history. If I'm being honest.
Especially if you're a Bears fan or a Vikings fan, just go apple picking this weekend.
Yeah.
Do something else.
Be productive.
Yeah.
Don't watch the game.
Have fun. Wash your shower. That brings us to primetime now. Sunday night, the Chiefs at the Jets. Justin, we'll start with you. Who you got, and why is it Kansas City?
Yeah, Jets by billion. Jets by billion. I'm taking your phrase there. No, Chiefs by billion. Sorry, that's fine. That's brain go burr there.
You want to do that one over?
No, we're fine. We'll roll with that. I don't care.
Burr.
Chiefs by billion. Zach Wilson looked horrendous against the Patriots this last week, and you saw the clips of Jets fans being like, "Screw you, Zach Wilson." Also, I just want a high second round pick, please. That's all I care about now. Just give me a high second round pick and destroy your season, please, Jets. That's all I'm asking for.
That's all we can ask for, really, to be honest. Obviously, it sucks that Aaron Rodgers went out. I really thought this Jets team was going to be special this season, but with Zach Wilson, and especially, the thing is, I think Zach Wilson could have probably developed with like a little bit of time behind Aaron Rodgers, because more than likely he was going to give him 2 seasons. However, now he's getting thrust right into the role, and he's just not there yet. He's just not a starting quarterback, and he's going to continue to give him like 70, 80 passing yards a game until they try and do something a little bit different, which it doesn't seem like they're going to do anything really different. So Chiefs, I think it'll be a little bit closer than how most of those Chiefs games have gone, but I still think the Chiefs by 14, though.
By 14?
By 14, yeah.
I'm calling 70-20 Chiefs.
We already saw one of those.
Already tied up.
Obviously, I've got the Chiefs because my brain is connected to my head.
That is where the brain is connected to.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
I should hope so. No, the Jets. The thing is about the Jets is that aside from the quarterback position, they are genuinely a really good team, and credit is due where it's due. The Jets are like a Ferrari without a steering wheel. And so far this season, with Zach Wilson at the helm, they've just kind of kept colliding into the same tree over and over again. Mike Tirico is going to have a lot of fun with this one. That's Chiefs by 40. And lastly this week, one that I think is actually going to be a pretty good game on Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants. Dan?
I'd say these two are probably the most similar teams, just in like, not even in makeup, but just in how they've been able to play the games that they've played so far. I mean, we all saw that, well, hopefully you guys didn't see the Niners and Giants game, because it was only tight for maybe like a quarter, and then it really got out of hand. But Daniel Jones needs time in that pocket, and if the Giants' offensive line isn't going to give him that, I could see the Seahawks just absolutely running away with this early on, because I watched that entire Giants 49ers game. I really wish I didn't. There was nothing else to watch at a Buffalo Wild Wings on Thursday night, though. And we had to go and sit through that, which was not fun. The only thing that was fun was my fantasy team, which was going off because I had 2 Niners players, and they demolished them. But I think it will be Seahawks, probably by a score. I don't think this is going to be like a big blowout game. I think this is going to be pretty close.
I'm going opposite. I'm going big blowout.
Big blowout.
For the Seahawks. I'm not going close game. This is going to be, I think that Giants defense is atrocious. We could call it the worst defense in the league at this point, I think. I mean, it's up there with the Broncos, right? And I think the Seahawks have too many offensive weapons to really, the Giants can't do anything about them. I think the Seahawks will run away with this one pretty handedly on a Monday night.
Yeah, I'm going to make it 3. I'm picking Seattle, too. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I think that the Giants are a better team than we give them credit for, although they certainly haven't shown it this year, and they've got the Saquon Barkley injury now. It's not going to go well for them. Meanwhile, Seattle, they're slightly better than we give them credit for, too, but they've kind of earned that. Geno Smith does his job and does it well, so I'm going to go, I think I'll say Seahawks by 4. Maybe in over. No, it wouldn't be by 4 in overtime. But
no, but
this one could go to overtime. I think these are 2 close teams. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right.
Geno Smith season, baby.
They wrote him off. He didn't write back.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's just about all the time we have to fill this week. We hope you'll join us again next week, when we really will have something different as we dive into the EA Sports NCAA football series. That's next week, but for now I've done all the damage I can do here. You can find other TV10 content on YouTube or on the free MyTV10 streaming service included with your tuition. For Dan Zons and Justin Narveson, as well as all the other people who helped make this possible, I'm Noah Schwartz. Good night, everybody.